Welcome back everyone. In this video I'm going to be reviewing the Tamron 24 to 70mm f2.8 G2 lens for Canon. Now the full title of this lens is the SP 24 to 70mm f2.8 DIVC USD G2. But everyone just calls it the 24 to 70 G2. Now whether you're just starting out with, or filling in the middle, or finishing out your holy trinity of lenses, a 24 to 70 millimeter lens is arguably a necessary all-around general purpose lens for most scenarios. And even though the lens has been out for nearly 5 years now, I purchased it just after Thanksgiving in 2021 because I saw how affordable it was in comparison to the Canon RF 24 to 70mm lens, but we'll get into that later on. First, let's go over build quality. It's an aluminum alloy barrel with 9 aperture blades and 17 elements inside, putting it at just about 2 pounds. So make sure your tripod head is tight with this thing on it so it doesn't pull your camera body down. It has a vibration control switch, which is image stabilization basically, with about 5 stops of compensation, so combining that with the stabilization of newer camera bodies will definitely help for anyone like me with shaky hands who does a lot of handheld shooting. The switch right beside that is the autofocus to manual focus, and towards the front is a lock switch to hold it in place and prevent any zoom creeping. But when using this lens, shooting upwards or downwards, I've never experienced any zoom creep anyway, but I do think it's nice that they included the lock on it. Now Tamron says it's moisture resistant, but that's basically weather sealed all around, so it'll hold up very well outside in case you start running into a few raindrops or such while shooting. I like that Tamron has also included this nice little pouch that actually has a bottom to it in comparison to most standard lens pouches, so I think that's a really nice bonus in case you're taking it traveling and it's not just sitting in your camera bag, but you want that little extra something there. Alright, now for everything regarding image quality and video. Autofocus is quick and sharp, especially if you're trying to keep up with multiple moving subjects in low light like I do in theater. Chromatic aberration is almost non-existent, and vignetting is more apparent at f2.8 and 24mm very wide, but it goes away as you stop down to at least 5.6 and maybe f8. And if you normally do headshots for folks, then a bit of vignette is not a bad thing. Even though we like lenses that really don't have vignetting, and sometimes, a lot of photographers will put it in post in the editing process to give more focus on the very center of the frame. The further you zoom in, however, the softer the corners get unless you stop down to f5.6 or f8. Now, even though there is a bit of focus breathing, I don't really see that as a big issue unless maybe you're filming a dramatic scene with 2 people standing at very different distances and you want to pull focus from one to the other, but again, it depends on the scene for that. As far as distortion goes, depending on the image and light, I've noticed a bit of distortion in the corners, which you can easily fix with one click in editing. But I've never noticed any extremes while shooting in real-world situations, so I don't feel like it's an issue unless you just like to see those types of tests. But overall, it's just very sharp, the quality is great, it's pretty much everything I could want. If you're wondering what would make this a better choice than the Sigma 24 to 70mm art lens, in my opinion, it's slightly lighter, it's about $100 cheaper as of this recording, and from the images I've seen, the image quality is just a little bit better, especially in the center. And probably the weather sealing all around in this compared to the Sigma was probably the biggest selling point for me. It's also the price point that made me invest in this over the Canon RF 24 to 70 L series. One, because, well, I had more money for this at the time, but looking at comparatives of the image quality between the Tamron and the Sigma to the Canon RF, I thought the vignetting is a little better in the Tamron, and it's $1,100 cheaper than the Canon. The Canon may be a bit sharper in the corners, whereas the Tamron may be a bit softer, but you can do a little post-processing work with that, and so I think that's a huge money saver. but the image quality is pretty much on par with the Canon RF glass, I think, right now. And I couldn't really tell a difference in the images that I looked at up close, even though not everybody's pixel peeping and we're not looking at every single image up close. We're just looking at the image that we see. So in conclusion, as we write on the essays, that's my review of the Tamron 24 to 70mm G2 lens for Canon. And I've been using this apart from doing any real estate or telephoto zooms on, you know, a squirrel in the distance. This is pretty much my go-to lens for anything, especially, like I said, I do a lot of theater. So this is my all-around, and I think it's going to last me very far into the future, as a good lens should. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you got something out of this. If you did, leave a comment down below if you're still considering what 24 to 70mm lens you should get if you haven't got one yet. If you want to give the video a thumbs up if you liked anything about it, I greatly appreciate it. Maybe subscribe to the channel while you're at it. I'd greatly appreciate that too. So again, thank you very much for watching. Y'all be excellent, and I'll see you in the next one.